Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing Amouage's newest collection in their library line, and this is Timber. Timber is depicted as a simple perfume, but I think it's quite the opposite. The woods in Timber are somehow creamy, green, citrusy, dry, and powdery all at once. In fact, Amouage has the ability to allow me to enjoy notes that I've never enjoyed in other perfumes before. Honor 43 was one of the first perfumes that made me enjoy tuberose. Silver Oud and King Blue really allowed me and opened my eyes to the world of oud. Although from the name Timber you wouldn't expect lavender, Timber has a very nice and strong dose of lavender, which I usually can't stand. My experience with lavender has been with overly synthetic, sharp, and poorly blended perfumes, specifically from the designer realm. In Amouage's Timber, the lavender here is beautifully blended. I have about 3 sprays of Timber here, and this is one of the most clean, easy to wear, but also complex scents that I've ever smelled. If you watched my video on Amouage's decision, Timber is in a similar category of being versatile and easy to wear while being extremely four-dimensional and complex at the same time. People confuse simplicity with versatility, and Timber is not simple. There's so many layers, so many dimensions, and so much going on. Timber is not all dry, clean, and creamy woods. In the first 10 minutes, there's something almost sour. The sourness is a bit odd and hard to place, but it contributes to the realism of freshly cut wood. Last week, I was in a brand new cabin, and the wood from the cabin, dry, sour, and a very slight sweetness. Timber also adds a beautiful cocoa powder note. The cocoa is not sweet, it's dry, it's chalky, it's a little bit bitter, it's dark, and it just blends in with the woodiness perfectly. One thing that really surprised me about this perfume is how much it changes based on what you're looking for in the perfume. Sometimes it can smell like fresh wood in the rain, but there's an equally creamy and relaxing facet here, and it keeps going. There's also that lavender, there's also that cocoa powder. Everything in here is equal, and everything in here is equally beautiful. I really enjoy how Amouage and the perfumer here didn't just go for basic woods. There is sandalwood and there is cedarwood here, but those aren't the two main things. The main woodiness here is coming from Palo Santo. Palo Santo isn't rare in perfumery, but it's definitely not as common as some of the other woods, and the use of Palo Santo in here is beautifully done. Palo Santo by itself has this dry, chalky, and almost citrusy feel, and there is a huge dose of that in Timber. Every time you think you've discovered every part of Timber, another texture reveals itself. And like I was saying with Amouage's decision, that's why versatility and simplicity are not the same thing. People like to say that Amouage's new perfumes are simple, but if you've owned or smelled any of the perfumes from Amouage, you know that not a single perfume in their catalog is simple. Obviously, there are some that are more easy to wear, but these are all three-dimensional and complex. In a way, Amouage's Timber is a play on texture rather than smell. It doesn't really make sense because it's a smell and not a feel, but this perfume feels so real, natural, and alive that you can almost feel the different textures of the woods. Cocoa powder makes the woods feel dry, velvety, and soft. But the cypress in here, which adds a little bit of greenness, gives the wood a bumpy and rough texture. I can't really blame people for calling this simple. This isn't a perfume that screams for attention. This isn't an animalic perfume. It doesn't have a lot of resins. It's not smoky. It's not dark. But it does what it does really well, and it's not trying to be anything else. One beautiful thing about Timber that not every perfume can do is that nothing in here dominates. Every note in here is equal and changes the way you perceive the wood. I only have one issue with Timber, and it doesn't even lie in how it smells. Amouage as a brand has figured out that they don't need to make extremely artistic and unconventional perfumes to sell their bottles. With Timber, with Decision, with Guidance 46, they're all gorgeously composed. They're all four-dimensional, they're all beautiful, they're high quality, and there's not much more you could want from them. But because they're selling so well, Amouage has really stepped away from the artistic perfumes, which is what they're known for. Due to the success of perfumes like Timber and Decision, perfumes like Figment Man, Reckless Leather, Imitation Man, and many, many more are not being made anymore. I think brands do need a balance between mass appeal and artisticness, but in recent years, Amouage has really taken a step away from artisticness. As much as I love their new creations, there always needs to be a balance between artisticness and challenge and mass appeal. I've been loving a lot of the new Amouage releases. I just hope that they can switch off between releasing mass appealing and very artistic perfumes. Before I go, I want to talk about one more thing. Timber is in the library collection from the House of Amouage. Amouage's library collection is their weird perfume collection. They have Reckless Leather, they have Silver Oud, they have King Blue, Royal Tobacco, and all of the old Opus collections. And as much as I love Timber, it does not fit in that collection. This makes me a little bit worried that Amouage is going to discontinue some of their older and more creative perfumes and replace them with gorgeous, albeit still mass appealing fragrances. If anyone from Amouage happens to be watching this video, the brand needs a better balance between mass appeal and artisticness. Realistically, the more mass appealing perfumes are making them more money, but for every Decision and Timber they release, they need to release a Figment Man.